Not even 2 years ago, if you had to kick down my front door and said, Eric, Fire Emblem, Animal Crossing, Pokémon, Luigi's Mansion, and Yoshi, I would have called the police. And then I would have said, why didn't you just list off 5 3DS games? Not anymore though, because it is 2019, and that slow drip of 3DS games Nintendo has been letting drip for a while, they finally called a plumber. And you know what he said? He said, do not put New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe on the 3DS, put it on the Switch. Alright, jokes aside, the 3DS seems to be wrapping things up over here. Like, if you look at last year, obviously we know that they pulled back support even more, but this year they finally popped the cork out and said, this is it, we're done. There's not really much else happening. I mean, what did they get for last Christmas for the 3DS? They got a Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn stocking, stuffed with some third-party games, and then pushed out the door again. And that looks like basically all they're going to be getting. There isn't much announced for the future. Maybe this next Direct might say at some point, whenever we get it, if we're ever going to get a Direct, maybe when they do that, we'll get a little bit more information. But at the moment, it doesn't seem like we're going to get much more for that 3DS. The Switch, on the other hand, we know of 6 Nintendo first-party games already coming next year. And guess what? 5 of those games that we just went through, they're known for being on portable systems. And I know what you're saying out there, Eric, the Switch is a portable console, and like, I hear you, Captain. I'm trying to just say that the Switch is going to be taking over the portable reins and kind of riding that sleigh all the way to Christmas and beyond. What I want to do today is I want to jump through the things that are helping the Switch become the new 3DS, new 3DS, and then I want to just go over some of the things that might help it even further become the takeover of the 3DS, the new 3DS queen or king, or system. System will probably be fine. Now the most obvious one here is the one I've kind of smashed into you enough times already, and that's the game lineup that is coming. We've got those 5 games that I mentioned. So the first one here is Fire Emblem. This is a big deal. Like, Fire Emblem has really taken off, and this Switch one, it seems to be like, by the looks of it, the biggest one in the series yet. So this is going to be great. Then we have Animal Crossing, which I'm surprised at how big this series is. I say I'm surprised because it's not a series that I got into myself. I kind of just avoided it for a long time, and then I found out that this is apparently one of Nintendo's biggest series, and every man, woman, grandma, and their dog plays this game. And I think the biggest thing about these 2 games that I mentioned that's going to be a big deal for the Switch, as it was for the 3DS, is that they're a really diverse audience of people who play these games. Like I said, every man, woman, grandma, and their dog, they all seem to play this game. So those audiences, those more casual audiences, are going to dive in, as well as those more hardcore Fire Emblem audiences, are all going to be in that same pool, swimming around. And if you think that pool's crowded now, wait till you get the Pokemon crowd into there. Like, obviously, I know some people jumped in last year, like myself, with the, I jumped in at the launch of the Switch. What am I talking about? But some people jumped in last year with Pokemon Let's Go. But I think we're going to see even more with this one, like a full mainline Pokemon in the Breath of the Wild engine, which is promised to us, right? Right? That is not happening, guys. Don't get your hopes up. But a full next-gen Pokemon is gonna sell just bonkers amounts. Like this system next year, you think last year was a big year? Wait till you get these 3 games under there. Then we have a couple of smaller titles which had been on handheld as well that I think are still gonna do pretty well for the Switch. First of all, Luigi's Mansion 3. Now this is my dream game because I'm just a big man baby, to put it lightly. This is basically the horror game for men who can't handle horror, which is myself. I cannot handle horror games, but I love Luigi's Mansion, I love the original, and I am prepared to dive right back into this one. I didn't play the DS ones, which I really got to go back and do that. And then, of course, we have Yoshi's Crafted World, which, if you've seen any of my previous footage, this game looks really great. Like, I normally sleep on Yoshi games a little bit because I find them a little bit, oh yeah, like these are fun, but they're not doing anything for me apart from like creatively making my eyeballs pop out of their sockets. But this game is doing both. Eyeballs popping out of the sockets, and the gameplay actually seems really cool to this one. And so I'm ready to dive into this Yoshi, I think. So those games have all been either on or mostly on a portable system before, and now they're moving their way back onto a home console. But what else is the Switch doing to become the new sweet 3DS? To tell you the truth, not a huge amount, but there are a couple of things here that it might do. And I think the first one is we've all heard rumors of this new iteration that's coming, the new Switch, which honestly, they've been rumors up to now. It was the Wall Street Journal that I think stated that last year that there was some new redesign coming. We don't know anything more about that, but apparently it was supposed to be here by March, so we'll see. But whether or not that happens, I think this is kind of putting Nintendo in a very tight position, because if they don't make a move, if they don't either put out a redesign or make some sort of statement on it, there's people out there who are just going to be sitting back on their chairs just wondering, do I get a Switch? What if the new design comes and I miss out? Like, they've got to say something. There's people just waiting and wondering. Simon the Wonderer is wondering whether he should get a Switch, and Nintendo needs to answer that question. So where exactly am I connecting the new 3DS and the Switch into this new redesign? Well, I think what matters here is the price point. You see, my assumption would be that they're either going to make a cheaper unit that either might just be the handheld unit itself or some sort of cheaper redesign, or they might just drop the price of the original unit itself. And that is important because that is what it needs to be able to target that 3DS audience. At the moment, that's what the 3DS has riding on it, is that it's so cheap. So to get in with that audience, this price drop will really, one, boost up sales, and two, will encourage maybe people who had the system before to go back in and buy it again as well. It's not just going to be new people that dive in with this, depending on the redesign itself. And so I think that's really important to boost up sales and, again, capture that 3DS audience. Just to reiterate, it was a rumor. We still got no idea whether even getting a redesign. I don't want anyone getting the wrong idea because there has been enough wrong ideas come out of this. There's two more big things here that the Switch is just missing that the 3DS had. And I honestly don't know whether it would get these. Like, these are just a couple of pie in the eye, pie in the sky, pie in the something ideas that I think Nintendo could kind of run with if... Personally, I hope they do. I think this is where I'm coming from. Is that I hope they put a theme system in there, and I hope they put music to either the console and the eShop. Why I think they won't is because they kind of have this framework going at the moment that is so minimalistic that putting extra stuff on top means that boot times are going to be longer, switching back to the menu is going to be longer, opening up the eShop is going to be longer, and I don't think they want to do that. But personally, I love when Nintendo take that little bit of inspiration and flair to make things more Nintendo-like, by adding their fun music that makes everything more interesting to be in, and just by adding themes that, depending what game I'm playing at the moment, makes me kind of show off, this is the game I'm playing. Anyway, they are the things that I think Nintendo can do to kind of take that 3DS name and just jam it into the Nintendo Switch's cartridge slot so it can truly kind of become what the 3DS was. Obviously, it's not going to get 3D. It's not going to get dual screens. No one's asking for anything like that. And no one could, well, someone might be, but no one could really expect anything like that out of the Switch. But regardless, all these games are either on the DS or 3DS systems or just known for being 3DS games. They're all on their way to the Switch, and it finally seems like Nintendo's kind of rolling that red carpet back up and saying, nope, this is going on the Switch now. Just to be clear, I don't think the 3DS is quite dead. Like, they're still going to throw it on the shelves for now because, I mean, it's still making them money. Why would they stop putting the 3DS on the shelves? I just think that support has finally kind of been ripped out from underneath it and thrown towards the Switch. They kind of just thrown the last bit they have at it, and that is it. Speaking of it, that is it for today. I want to thank you for joining me, and I want you to remember that for great Nintendo entertainment, you can count on me. Today's end screen is brought to you by an extremely dark Eric because I wanted to show you all, an echoey Eric, the sun. I know some of you are like living in really cold places of the earth right now, and you're probably not getting a lot of this, so enjoy the sun from Australia. It's like almost 40 degrees here, ridiculously hot. Goodbye.